Explorations presents Amateur Hour.
Hello everybody, welcome to Explorations Amateur Hour. It's Rob, Damien, and Ian with you again, and today we are talking about winter camping. Why winter camping? Because it's winter, really, so we thought it would be a good reason to talk about it. Again, this is going to be another conversation kind of like paddling, where it's a massive topic, and we're obviously not going to get through all of it in 15 minutes, but we will do our darndest. So, as usual, I put this out to Ian and Damien. Why winter camping?
Because it's really hard. And I feel like honestly that's probably, for me at least, the biggest drive anytime I've done it is it's just like you have to be like really trying hard. The elements are very much against you the whole time. And so it's fun to challenge yourself. And I think for me at least that's been part of the draw to it.
There are no bugs. There are zero bugs. And nearly zero people out there as well. And during the summertime, you get hordes and crowds of people to like the areas at least closest to around Southern Ontario to around Toronto. Like anywhere less than 2 hours away, you will get the Toronto crowds. Snow absorbs all the sound. It's just so quiet. It's so peaceful and serene, and that's the draw for me. Yeah, sure, you have to carry in a little bit more equipment, but I mean, equipment's equipment. You got to bring it in anyway.
I think a big part of it too, maybe more so for Ian and I living in middle eastern Canada as opposed to the west coast, but winter takes up a lot of time of the year here, and I don't know if I want to go 3, 4, sometimes 5 months without being able to get out and do some of the stuff I love.
Winter's like maybe 2 months, and shoulder season's like the other 6.
True, that's true.
Yeah,
and it's
sleet rain every day.
I think we were just talking earlier. Shoulder season goes until like December, beginning December anyway. late shoulder season.
Obviously, we're not paddling in the winter, so I know there's a few options like snowshoeing, skiing, just slogging it through the snow, which I've done a few times and may not be the best suggestion, but what do you guys prefer? What are your experiences?
I would love to do a cross-country one. I don't think I've ever done that yet, but snowshoeing for me is probably the biggest hit, where I really like snowshoeing into a winter camping spot if possible.
I actually haven't done cross-country skiing into a site before either, and I've been wanting to do that for a very long time. I've been looking for cross-country skis, and since the pandemic, I was, well, in a better position to acquire cross-country skis in the more recent years. But having said that, the pandemic hit, and then everything sold out, so I couldn't get them. But yeah, hiking and snowshoeing and just hiking in general with it's not exactly crampons, but you have like the traction that you put on your shoe, and so you have better grip. So you have those little things.
And how are you carrying your gear when you guys do that? Are you like on backpack or sled? Sled, yeah.
I mean, I've definitely had a backpack, but that's probably my favorite part of taking winter camping stuff is you can bring a sled. It's just so cool to like just casually have like whatever it is, like 60 liters or 70 liters of gear just not on your back at all.
Yeah, totally.
So
I kind of have a love-hate relationship with sleds. The love part being what Damien just described, but the hate part being, and maybe it's the sleds I'm buying, but I find them really hard to keep upright. Especially in deeper snow when you're in front of it and you're digging like a trench. So I mean, I'm sure that's more operator error than sled error.
Yeah, there's certainly an art to it, and the way to pack it too is going to be very key. Yeah. I mean, admittedly though, as much as I love the sleds, the last few times I went winter camping was just a hike in. Also, granted, there wasn't enough snow on the ground for any snowshoes or sleds. So
Yeah, and I will say, like, so I haven't done a lot of winter camping out in the West Coast yet, but I can imagine a sled being absolutely a disaster here. Literally going up a mountain. Like, because anytime
Oh,
we're
right,
winter
right.
camping, we're climbing a mountain to do it. So if you're climbing a mountain, it sounds like a real bad time to bring a sled. And if you're going down a mountain, it sounds like a really efficient way to get your gear down, but perhaps a little too efficient to get your gear down the
True,
hill.
true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about sleds, but what other sort of, maybe not winter specific, but winter necessary gear would you say we have that you may not necessarily bring for like summer or fall camping? I know there's a bit of an overlap between shoulder season and winter, so we'll kind of lump those together for now, but what kind of
I think
specific gear?
I think for me, like the most critical gear, apart from like just the clothing you wear for your standard winter kind of shenanigans, would be a winter sleeping bag.
Yes.
Or like that's when you're gonna probably be at your most risky because you're laying there sleeping in -20 or -30, whatever it is. And so most sleeping bags aren't rated for that. They're rated for maybe like -5, and that's like keep you alive -5, not have a
survival
good
temps.
time -5.
Yeah.
So I know for me, my winter sleeping bag's rated for -20, and even then, I would say I could use another 10 to 20 degrees on that baby. Like that's I still get cold in winter when I've used it, so
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I think my bag might be a -40 bag, and I still like to throw a fleece blanket inside it.
yeah.
Especially for when you first get
Yeah.
in it. Sleeping bags are cold when you first get in, but flannel
Yeah.
or fleece warm up almost instantly, so
Yeah.
it's a little nicer experience if you don't mind carrying the extra weight in bulk.
The trick to that is the old boiling water of and Nalgene, right?
Oh, I'll throw that in
So
first. Yeah.
yeah, throw that in
Mhm.
first, heat up your bag, and then jump in and have fun.
The one thing I found uh, these days, because now I'm old with back pain, the Robax back pain reliever that heats up the lower lumbar, it's actually really good in a sleeping bag and warming you up.
Yeah, I'll ever try that.
And
For
something
sure.
that definitely comes to mind hearing you talk, Ian, and when we're talking about sleeping bags, I guess again, um, Ian, you run hot. Like you like sweat in I've seen you wear like a t-shirt sitting outside in -10, just being like, yeah, it's fine. I don't understand. And so I feel like you really got to kind of check with yourself too, because I know people who will be cold in the summertime camping, and you're gonna have a really bad time unless you really recognize that you're going to be cold and double down on heating up and double down on sleeping bags, right? Like my -20 sleeping bag might be a summer sleeping bag for someone else.
And on the topic of equipment still, one thing that kind of surprised me when I figured it out, and probably will surprise a lot of people, is that winter is the one time of year where you don't really need a tent, and you'll probably still be fine. At least in Ontario. I know BC's a little more rainy, but if you don't have to deal with water in water form, tents are kind of optional.
Yeah, and I would say not even just optional. Sometimes they can be more of a hindrance.
Yeah, exactly.
like it's something else to carry, and certainly if you don't have the correct tent, which is a four-season tent,
Hmm.
they can. I went winter camping and my tent literally collapsed on me because of snow. Like the poles gave out and I was trapped in a tent.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal.
Yeah, winter camping's been the time where I've been most comfortable in just like a quick tarp shelter. Like
Mhm.
string a rope between some trees, throw a tarp kind of over top, and then another tarp underneath. Good to go.
Yeah.
That's a rough
Yeah.
description of it. There's a little more to it than that, but without getting
No,
into,
that's great.
without derailing into shelter construction. Yeah.
That could be a whole nother topic.
Oh, it could definitely be a whole other massive topic.
Yeah. Funny enough, my four-season tent, when I wake up in the morning, you see frost everywhere on the inside.
I gotta say, I mean, again, like most of my experience with winter camping so far has been with the sled, carrying it behind me. And one thing that you don't in any way have to worry about is food spoiling. Like, you can bring steak and cheese and all the things that you would imagine that you would have a difficulty keeping for 3 or 4 days. No cooler required. Just bring it, make sure it's safely away from animals, certainly, but you can bring it and you can have a lovely, lovely meal. I've had some amazing. That's probably my favorite part of winter camping is just the
Yeah.
meals you can make. It's just so crazy in winter camping.
I tend to, when I go, plan to do wood fire cooking for everything. I will have my small white gas stove as a like emergency backup, but I will do pretty much all my cooking on a fire, excuse me.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for that is I like to have a pot of water on the fire at all times, just so you have something warm going. You can take a drink of it whenever you want. I usually bring like a juice crystal or something, just so I'm not drinking smoky flavored water. But yeah, so I'll have a pot of water on the fire. I'll take some juice out, throw some snow back in to replace it, and that'll just keep going all day, basically. Assuming I'm not changing sites. This is assuming I'm at a base kind of camp, but that's generally the plan with me. And for that, I wouldn't want to be using gas because I'll just be burning through gas.
Yeah.
Again, gas is a backup, very important, but
Yeah,
I generally
for
plan to
sure.
do most of my cooking on wood.
And I don't know about all winter camping experiences certainly, but I know for me, the wood fire is like the lifeblood of that whole experience, right? Like, I feel like like if I were to summarize my activities for winter camping, it's looking for wood, tending to a fire, and cooking on a fire. Like, those are the three things I do the whole time. So definitely, yeah, if you can get a fire going, keep it going. And certainly if you have enough wood to keep it going the whole time, you'll be in a much happier place than not.
What's your layering systems like for activities outdoors in the
Uh,
winter time?
Lots of layers.
yeah, I find I always bring more layers than I need, which is probably a good thing, but it means I'm carrying a lot of stupid stuff.
Better safe.
But it's safer, yeah. So typically my layering will be merino wool base for a long sleeve and long johns if needed, depending on the temperature. But typically I'll bring them. And then a micro fleece on top of that, a down jacket for on top of that, and then a shell on top of that. And then I'm basically ready for anything, and that includes sitting around or actively moving. I feel like that kind of covers my bases.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same deal. I have like my thermal layer underneath, and then I'll have a sweater. Usually it's a hoodie, but some sort of sweater. Not a cotton, but something along wool lines or fleece. And then I have a jacket. My jacket has a big fat liner in it, or I can take the liner out and just use it as a shell. So I have those two layers. And in extreme situations, I have another vest that I can put on in between my sweater and my jacket. I have no idea what the material is, but it is super warm. Like it's a snowboarding vest of some sort.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, if you don't have a
Yeah.
shell, the wind is just gonna whip all the heat away because your other materials aren't able to keep that heated air inside them. The wind's just gonna suck it out or blow it out. I guess wind blows.
Hey.
I mean, sometimes
yeah.
wind sucks, but it's for a different reason. I don't need Gore-Tex. I just need warm stuff, and we're good. I'm gonna put a shell. Maybe it's made of any other material. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's like a wax cotton on the outside. It doesn't matter as long as it's literally just a shell. And yeah, don't worry too much about breathability unless you're one of the people that really needs to vent more. Like wherever he is in your screen, that guy.
He's
And
over
me.
there.
He's over there. Great.
Yeah.
I also need to vent for sure. Like I will end up probably in just a shirt at some point in a winter camping trip. But yeah, there's definitely like a great example is my girlfriend who like has these $40 snow pants that like work better than any like fancy pair of gear she's ever purchased or owned. And it's just because they're not trying to be breathable. They're not trying to like do all these other things. They're just like, yeah, we're just gonna keep you warm and then literally keep everything inside. The moisture, everything. Doesn't matter. We're keeping it all. And because of that, she's actually more comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, I want to try a different style format thing here. We're gonna go take turns and go around and give out quick winter camping tips. So like 20 seconds each. I'll go first, and then you guys can fight over who goes next. So first tip, if you're going winter camping, spend a little bit more money and invest in boots with removable liners. If your feet get wet, you can pull those liners out and dry them off. You'll be a whole lot happier. And if worse comes to worse, you can even stick a little bit more insulation in there to keep you warm.
I'll go. I think the one of the biggest misnomers is not having layers for your legs. A lot of people concentrate on the upper bodies and the core, which makes sense. And at the same time, we forget a lot about our legs. And so thermal long johns and layering up for your legs is also very important. What I'd like to do now are long johns, but like a thicker long john. And on top of that, I have like, I know I'm not supposed to have cotton, but I do sometimes wear jeans. Another article of clothing I have is actually a thicker, what do you call it, construction pants that's meant for working outdoors. And so they're a lot more durable as well. And then if it needs be, to have a hard shell, and I have, funny enough, just rain pants. They are just 100% waterproof, and they keep you so much warmer when you have your legs correctly layered up as well.
Nice. Damien.
Great. Mine's easy. Bring an emergency blanket. They
Yes.
cost like $5.
Yeah.
They're this
yeah.
big, and dear God, it literally means the life or death. Like it'll save your life. Bring it. It's easy and cheap. Just do it. And small.
Yeah, I remember you took advantage of that blanket.
Yeah, they're
At
great.
least when we went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're fantastic, and it's a really smart thing to bring. My
For
next
the
tip,
record, just to stay
Yeah.
extra warmer, not because Damien was in a dire emergency situation.
yeah, no, I figured I would have heard about that if that was the case.
Didn't almost die this time.
Not that time. That's good. My next tip is change your clothes before you go into your sleeping bag for the night. If you go in, I know people want to like not have to get naked in their tent before going in because it's going to be cold, but you'll be a lot warmer at night because you'll get their damp layers off, and you won't bring all that dampness into your sleeping bag. So if you are going to wear some clothing in your sleeping bag at night, make sure it's fresh and dry.
Yeah. On the sleep system, a lot of people concentrate on layering inside the sleeping bag, which makes sense, and it's a very smart thing to do. One thing, if you still need to create warmth, is to distance yourself from the ground. So if you find that you don't have enough thickness on your air mattress, what you can do is find some not fresh but dead pine needle branches and shove them underneath. They're actually really, really warm. If you layer them on top of each other, stacking, you create a lot of little air pockets that will keep in the warmth and keep you away from the ground as well.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. Good idea.
It worked really well.
Yeah, I bet. Damien tip?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just know when to say no, maybe. Like sometimes winter, especially in winter camping, it can get real dangerous. Don't do it. You know, if you're like, oh yeah, you've been planning it for 2 months or something, and then all of a sudden it's -50 in a blizzard, maybe it's not worth it. You know, just don't do it.
Yeah, it's not going to be
That's a really
fun
good
if
one.
you're in a super dangerous situation.
Yeah.
No one wants to be there. One more quick round of tips, and then we'll call it a day. Or are we done here?
Sure, I could probably come up with another one as long as I'm going last again.
I'll try and come up with another one.
Okay, I'll do one more and then we'll do the same rotation. So this actually goes for any winter activity. When you're driving to your winter activity, whether it be camping or snowboarding or whatever, don't have your car heat cranked up to the max. Keep your car cool, especially the closer you get to your destination. Cool it down so when you get out of your car, you're a little more acclimatized. If you get out of a blazing hot car, you've been sitting in a t-shirt, out into -20, you are going to feel extremely cold.
I think on a similar note, when you're just about to prepare to hike into your camping spot or about to go do your next big ski run or snowshoe, cross-country skiing, whatever you're doing outdoors in the wintertime, dress at that very specific moment, layer down to the point where it's like 10 degrees warmer. So you don't want those layers on. For temperature control reasons, as we've spoken about, sweating can be pretty deadly in the wintertime. And then when you stop, put those layers back on so that you keep in that heat while you're resting. So the temperature control, a little bit more finicky, but it's, oh man, that really helps with enjoying times in the outdoors when it's super cold.
Okay. I guess for me, it's just, hey, you know how it's really annoying when your batteries die in the cold? Yeah, maybe bring extra batteries because everything's gonna freeze and it's not gonna work well. Your headlamp that everything is darkness by 4 p.m., you're gonna be using it more and it's gonna be not lasting anywhere near as long as you're used to it doing. So headlamps, any chargers, anything that you require, and try to minimize your battery use because again, energy is very expensive and difficult to get in the winter.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I think we covered a lot tonight. Again, this is another massive topic that we could probably go on about for hours, but we are sort of constrained to our 15 minutes or so here. But thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. And if there's any topics you'd like us to discuss or try to discuss in the future, please leave a comment below, give us some ideas, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.